Welcome to YouTube's live control. Let's walk through how to create a... Check your stream key, yada yada. Edit your stream metadata. Title, privacy, monetization options. Okay. Why the fuck does YouTube have to change everything? Every time I go live, there's like something different. I'm sorry, guys. This is like idiotic. Start sending us your video from streaming. Yeah, I already did. All that shit, YouTube, you dumb idiots. Oh man. Okay, I see you guys over there on the chat. So this is quite confusing to me. Can I pop that one out? Maybe open up the studio again. Maybe it'll be refreshed this time. Dude, what the fuck? Start sending us your video from your streaming software to go live. I mean, it says I'm live over there. Bro, I don't even know. It's a bit odd. I wonder if I can still share it out on Twitter. Does it even exist? Live. It just says, let's read live stream. What the fuck? Why is this confused? God damn. That's very upsetting. Guy, I apologize. This is like completely different to me, guys, and fuck. It's confusing, and I didn't expect it. So, I mean, technically, what is does it say a certain title for you guys or anything like that? Ultra low latency. What's this? Real-time interaction. Can I even save anything? Dude, I don't even know if I can save anything. Well, that's really tough because it like... Well, maybe I can move the chat over here and then just pop this up. I mean, that should be fine. I just can't like... It's really upsetting. Well, yeah, I guess if it looks normal, and you guys are here, that's all that really matters. It's just like my ability to like manage shit. Live now reading Louisiana stories, cool. Yeah, fuck, I don't even know, man. That's fucking weird. Sorry, I take like one day off of streaming and I like have lost my way. Connor McCutcheon with a 5 says, can't wait to hear local stories. Nice, yeah, you from Louisiana. That's pretty dope. Well, hello to those down south. Yeah, shit, I don't even know, like... It sucks because I want to, like, share this out. I guess the most people would find out through... I think it tells you through Discord as well, but... And Estrella Lovely with the 3. Thank you, Estrella. At least it shows me that. And there's Maya B with the 2 bookers. Says hello with much love. You missed me. Thank you for missing me. So basically what I normally do is from using Streamlabs OBS, I can click on go to YouTube Live dashboard. And so I click that. Not that, I'm sorry guys. We're just chatting for 20 minutes as usual. You know how it goes. So I guess that gives me some wiggle room to just bullshit with stuff here, but stream setup help. I don't know. I don't know, YouTube fucked up somewhere. Like, cause I literally have no idea what's going on. This is like live. So like their YouTube thing, live thing. I must sound like an idiot right now, but this is like, it's not like the setup is the same. It's just that in the YouTube studio where I can like see it like playing live, and then usually I can pop out the chat and I can see like, you know, the number of people that are here and stuff like that. All that shit doesn't exist on there. It's acting as if though I need to like input a stream key, and it's just like not receiving any data from, you know, OBS, which is the streaming software that I use. But as long as you guys are getting it, I guess fuck YouTube Studio, dude. That's so stupid though, because I would like to share this out to Twatter World, but I guess it doesn't fucking matter. Oh well. Fuck it, dude. Grant Russell, thank you for the 2. Voltra, you're a huge fan. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad. I wish there was more options as far as... Huh. Yeah, I am wildly perplexed as far as that goes, so... Kimchi no bueno. What's the no bueno? Cage Unlimited with a 5 says, well, if it isn't my favorite spooky storyteller, can't wait for the stories. Keep it up. Thank you. Thank you, Cage. Sorry, you guys know me. I don't know what it is about like technical difficulties, but it gives me like major anxiety. Like even though it's like nothing, the only things that give me anxiety in this world are fucking being stuck in open water on the possibility of getting eaten by a great white shark or jellyfish, and or the Loch Ness monster, or having like technical difficulties literally right in the middle of a live stream. And it's so stupid because it just basically comes down to they must have changed something on YouTube's end without like communicating that directly with like Streamlabs OBS, and then that just kind of like fucking throws me for a loop-de-poop. Venus Flytrap with the 5 says, legit, just got off of work. Hell yeah, perfect timing. Nice, yeah. I actually wanted to start like way earlier, like at like 7, but because I finally got my sleep schedule where I'm actually like getting in bed by like midnight, you know, so you guys are catching me on the tail end of my day, which is better. On a scale of 1 to 10, how stoned am I? I would say a 0, yeah. Sam Riding farted in the shower and it sounded like a duck's quack. Now there's a spooky story someone should submit. Hannah's actually going to make it to the end of the stream. And Miss Molly with the 2 says, Joel, my love, how are you, my dear? I'm doing good. I feel good. I'm living good. I guess I don't really have any use for this like second monitor now that since I pretty much had to drag the OBS like chat box over to you guys over here. Over to you guys, I mean over to me. I don't know what I'm talking about. Gothic Rose with the 5 Canadian says, missed y'all, my baby girl Raven was born 1 week ago. Gothic, congratulations. Thank you so much for the 5 Canadian maple syrup dollars. I feel like I should be handing that over to you, my friend. I still appreciate your commitment to the stream, even as a new mummy. Well, even though I think you've been a mummy for a while. A mother, that is. But we all hope your baby's doing superbly well. Paranoia Princess says, I'm working on submitting stories about various times I almost died. Is that up your alley? That's definitely up my alley, yeah. Definitely for a paranormal video or a subscriber stories video. As always, if you want to submit your stories, send them to reddit.com/r/letsreadofficial. That is the official subreddit to send things. Or you can email it to letsreadsubmissions@gmail.com. Either way is Reddit's the best way to get them on, but just because it's more organized and easier to figure out. Jenna with the 10 Canadian maple syrup beaver bucks says, hey there, Mr. Sexy Voice. Did I miss the beginning of the stream? We are just, how many minutes are we in? We are at 10 minutes in, so you are good to go. No missies. No missies takes backsies. Jensen, in the beginning of the stream, I don't know how do you use OBS? I guess I can ask you this later, but basically I use Streamlabs OBS, and normally I click the little cog wheel where it says go to YouTube Live Dashboard, but the YouTube Live Dashboard, like, they changed it, and it's like not receiving my data or something like from the stream, you know, from the OBS, so I don't know if you were having issues with that recently or not, but it's kind of thrown me for a loop-de-loop and made things like mildly inconvenient. First world problems, am I right? Am I right, folks? My single. Single as a Pringle. With a dingle. Gothic used Streamlabs OBS too. Yeah. I mean, I didn't have any issues with it prior, and then all of a sudden, like, I just feel like YouTube changes something and it's like all sorts of fugged. Spectrum ARZ says, I almost died by faulty train sensors before. Gates went up when a train was leaving, but another one was coming. Oh, that's terrifying. Oh, wait. Jensen says, I never use that. I just go live and put in the title and description. Oh. You go live with OBS or I guess the other thing? That would make sense. Pringles spoon all the other Pringles. It's true. It's just one big line of spoonage. Yeah, that's a good question. Why are all Pringles single, you know? Maybe I guess it's so that they can couple so well with the other Pringles at any given moment. Or maybe because they know they're about to be devoured. So they don't want to like create any ties, and then no one will have to mourn them once they've been chomped up. Single, ready to mangle. Sangle and ready to get mangled. Jack, giving you tingly thoughts. Tingly thoughts, everyone. Have I heard of Darkness Prevails? Never thought of doing a collab with him. I actually do have, I believe, a collaboration with him on some old Snapchat stories. So if you were to type that into the search bar for my channel, or, you know, type in Snapchat Let's Read, I believe some of them, or I think it has Darkness Prevails in it. I definitely have collab with him, and we actually had talked before about how the way we ended up collabing was like he was in a Overwatch match that I was in. I was like, I know that name, and he's like, I know that name, and I was like, holy shit, dude, what's up? So that was really funny. Jensen's gonna get rid of the foot long he ate yesterday. Cajun Redneck, any Cajun Rednecks checking in? When's the next subscriber stories? Well, what is today? Today is Tuesday, right? So we are going to be doing, so Friday's video is actually the paranormal video featuring with the Slap Tam as the, Slap Tam is the collaboration for Friday. It's going to be paranormal stories, so get ready for that one. You guys are going to shiz your pants. But yeah, so tomorrow is going to be these Louisiana Cajun type stories. Cajun pretzels. I don't know. What's usually Cajun? Cajun nuts. Anyways, yeah, so probably next week will have to be subscriber stories. Subscriber-roni. You and Darkness Prevails should totally do another collab. That would be, yeah, I mean, I definitely should hit him up. He does a lot. Doesn't he do a lot of like paranormal stuff? I feel like I haven't checked in on him in a while. Lils, I've cured your depression. You're welcome. You're welcome, my friend. Let me suck the depression directly out of you. Mm-hmm. Give it here. Give it here. That's right, Cajun chicken. How old am I? I am dirty 30. Just turned 30 in June. So I'm a full-grown pizza. What category does possession fall in? So that would be paranormal, for sure. For show. But it can also be in the subscriber stories if it's like, you know, gets used for a subscriber story. He seems to love Wendigo stories. Yeah, him and Swamp Dweller kind of head down that route quite a bit. Depression suck. Yeah, I still like, I don't know, like I don't, you know. Basically, I know the things that make me feel good in life are friends, family, doing hobbies, things that I enjoy to do. The sunlight is good for you. Exercise is good for you. Puppy dogs and kitty cats and hanging out with the laughter of children, you know, like nieces and nephews and sons and daughters and all that good stuff. Can't say that I understand all of the science behind it, but all I know is that it makes me happy. Whatever makes you happy, that's what you should really just search after in your life. Unless that whatever makes you happy hurts somebody else, then don't do that. Sorry, Lorena Bautista. I knew a girl with that last name back in H school. With a 10 says, I'm so happy to finally catch a stream in the beginning. I've been putting butter in my socks and praying every day for this. It's finally come true. Your prayers have truly been answered. And Skank Hunt 42 has become a full-grown pizza and a member of the Buttersock cult. Skank Hunt, welcome. That's funny. I guess maybe I read the word skank because it put anonymous has become a member, so it's kind of hilarious. Like purposely kind of hides that. But thank you, my friend. Your uncle stuck his left toenail in my mouth while I was sleeping. What should I do? Dude, just finish it. Just clip them. Clip those toenails for him and maybe just rip a toe off while you're at it. Reading and narrating is your go-to to help with depression. Yeah, I think just like I was always inclined, you know, towards like creative things, and I think I honestly think creating things, like getting involved in some sort of like hobby that enables you to create and be expressive is like really important for like, you know, the human experience, man. You know what I mean? I think we're just like more inclined towards that, whether it's writing or some form of art, photography, things of that nature. Just it fills us with a certain sense of joy. And Carrie says, what did you do my Sunday entail? Yeah, what did my Sunday entail? I think that's where I reset my sleep schedule. So what's been kind of bad is like, remember how I've been starting these streams sometimes almost close to midnight, and then we would get done with them at like 3 a.m., you know, and or close to it. And then I'd stay up on Discord editing and like, you know, bullshitting with people and stuff, and it's been fun. But I ended up like staying up, you know, till 6:30 a.m., 7 a.m. And I think Sunday I literally didn't have anything to do in my entire day, so I just like depressingly stayed in bed from like 7 a.m. till 6 p.m. You feel me? And so I was like, all right, fuck this. I want to like live normally. So around midnight on Sunday, I took some ZQuil, Benadryl, and just like passed out till like 6 a.m. And since Monday morning, I have been trying to reset my sleepy boy schedule. But other than that, I was just like preparing the podcast leading up to Betty Bye. 330 people here. Hello to all of you. Hey, there's Pradeep crawling through my legs. I didn't even know he was in the room. Hello, boy. Mr. Man. Oh, he's very, very soft. It's so funny when he like walks up and just like, you know, rubs his body into my legs, because he's like, I don't know, he just like stands there for a second like, well, I'm waiting. Are you going to stroke me or what? That's Pradeep's voice. I'm not really sure what Pradeep's voice sounds like. I imagine it's something very sexy. All right, my friends. Well, thank you for being here. Sorry about the technical issues in the beginning. I mean, at least everybody's receiving the stream well without any laggage. And we seem to be getting the typical number of folks. But we are going to switch over to some story time, some hot story time action. With some Louisiana stories. We got 6 of them tonight. I speak Portuguese. Oh, yeah, that's right. Pradeep does speak Portuguese. I forgot about that. I just admitted my voice is sexy. Prove it. Prove it in court. I'll see you there. Your dog does butt rubs against me the first thing when I begin work in the AMs. It's funny. Yeah, dogs are so cute. You know, it's so funny about like cats. My cat versus having a dog is like a dog's just like so aggressively in your face, and like you're eating and a dog's just like there, like drooling next to you, waiting for the scraps. And I like I had bacon this morning and I just like put it in Pradeep's face, and it's like, he seemed excited and he was like, you know, sniffing it and stuff, but like not getting close enough to let it touch his face, but sniffing it all the more, you know. But like, you know, a dog would have just been like, oh, that's what I've been waiting for, and just like take your fingers off trying to get to it. I think it's hilarious how complete opposites their personalities are. Dogs and cats, man. I'll tell you what. Alright guys, we're going to switch over to our reading screen. Thanks you to the amazing Robin Mikalsen and his beloved artwork on screen. You know, I'd say follow me. I mean, you can still follow me on Instagram, on Twitter, at least to be alerted of pretty much all the new videos, all the new streams that, you know, or if I don't stream, I can alert you there as well. But yeah, follow me on Twitter at Let's Read Creepy, and follow me on Instagram at letsread.official to be kept up to date when shit's popping. I wanted to share this stream out on Twitter, but I don't know how to do that with an OBS here, so that's kind of confusing. Because I know you can do it when you first start, but it gives you like a really weird link. It's like a weird link. It's like a link. But yeah, also follow my meme page at Horny Computer on Instagram. I've got the best memes on the internet. Anybody who's followed me thus far can confirm. It's like an easy 10 out of 10 meme page. You'll be laughing till you cry. But like I said, send a story into reddit.com/r/letsreadofficial or letsreadsubmissions@gmail.com, and you can get a chance to hear your story on the channel. You never know. And by that I mean, please, for the love of God, send it in, because you guys' content keeps me continuing to exist, so thank you for that. Alright guys, let me switch over. It's going to switch up the mood. We're going to get spooky here, my friends. Real spooky with some Iron Cthulhu Apocalypse. He's recently been releasing a lot of dark ambient music that's like over 10 hours long. So if, say you want some dark ambient just to set the mood, but you need it for your like full-on sleeps, like full-on your, like I slept on Sunday. If I wanted to just sleep in complete terrifying dark ambience for that full 12 hours, I could have used Iron Cthulhu Apocalypse. Let's try this one. Another cursed soundtrack, another dead world. Turn it up. Get that bass a bumping. Alright, how's that spooky sensation? I actually like this already. I'm feeling good about it. I like the ones that kind of like, they're ominous, but it's also kind of relaxing at the same time. And Hannah says, hey Joel, Lila really wants you to see this somehow and say hi to her. Well, hello Lila. Where are you? I didn't see you pop up in the chitty chat. Oh, there she is. Just at me, yeah. If there's something you guys want me to see, just at Let's Read, and it will. Of course, sometimes people do it, and it does. Like Brittany Years says at Let's Read, say hi to Lila, dude. But like, it didn't pop up as like orange. You know what I mean? Like, basically, I think for it to actually work, it almost has to bring down like a drop-down menu of names, and mine has to like be clicked. You know what I mean? So that it actually like shows like an off color to the normal text. But yes, hello Lila, welcome. Mr. Amazing Mason says, check out Mixed Emotions by Fame the Dawn. What's that all about? Is it related to dark ambiance? Lila wants a hug. Can we all hug Lila at one time? Suffocate her with love. Suffocate her. Squeeze her till the love goo comes out. Sorry, I guess that sounds kind of weird. Anyways, let's, I'm happy to be back. We're at 400 people for the first story. That's pretty baller. Guys, thanks for all being here. Appreciate it. And we're going to kick it off with our first Louisiana story. I'm sure there's going to be places that I'm going to have to look up the pronunciations. It's going to be some weird Cajun tongue, but we'll figure it out. For the longest time now, my one true passion in life has been fishing. I have a really high-pressure job as a stock trader in my hometown of Philadelphia, and nothing seems to help me unwind from a stressful week quite like a day's worth of fishing. I think it's the combination of the serene setting, the slow, steady pace of it, and the fact that I'm reconnecting with nature. When most of my life is spent in a stuffy office space staring at a computer screen. But there's always been one dream fishing trip that I've always wanted to go on, but never really had the time to arrange, and that's bow fishing down in Louisiana. Ever since I saw a segment on it on the World Fishing Network, I was just dying to try it. I always wanted to try out some kind of archery too, so combining that with my passion for fishing just seemed like the obvious choice. I had mentioned it once or twice to my wife, and being the great listener that she is, she ended up arranging a trip down to the bayou for myself, a few of my buddies for my... Down in the bayou. Anybody... So that's mistake number one. Someone count my mistakes. I like that. It gives me a challenge, and I get to see how good I get as time goes on. Did anybody watch Waterboy growing up? One of Adam Sandler's best movies before he got bad at being a movie man. Not that it, that's, a lot of people say Jack and Jill is Adam Sandler's like worst movie. I only watched 15 minutes of it with a friend. But it was so stupid. It was like the dumbest thing ever, but for some reason, because it was so stupid, it made me laugh really hard for that 15 minutes before we had to go somewhere. But just like him playing as like his like crazy sister, I don't know. It was the juxtaposition just like caught me off guard. H2O. Gatorade. How much do you think Gatorade had to pay to be in Waterboy? That's what I want to know. I had mentioned it once or twice to the wife, and being the great listener that she is, she ended up arranging a trip down into the bayou for myself and a few of my buddies for my 37th birthday. We flew down to New Orleans on the Friday morning, which I had no idea was named after Louis Armstrong. Is it Louis Armstrong or Louis? I think it's Louis Armstrong. Louis Armstrong. Louis Daniel Armstrong. Is it Louis? Nicknamed Satchmo, Satch and Pops, was an American trumpeter, composer, vocalist, and actor who was among the most influential figures in jazz. Spanned 5 decades. That's wild. To be popular for 5 decades. Do you think Let's Read will be popular for 5 decades? If I divert all of the, if everything I talk about diverts back to me, does that make me a narcissist? Louis Armstrong. How to say, How to say, this is Louis Armstrong. Okay, Louis, it's Louis, okay. Louis Armstrong. Alexis, welcome. Kimchi says Louis Armstrong, but I don't know. I got a Wikipedia article telling me right here, pronounced his own name as Louis. On his 1964 record, Hello Dolly, he sings, "This is Louis Dolly," but in 1933 he made a record called Laughing Louie. Well, let's just say Louis. I think that sounds more fun. It's pronounced Geppetto. Jeez, that's real Cajun. Yes, please do be sure to like and, I was going to say like and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, please do that. But please like and share out the video with all the beautiful people on the internet. It helps YouTube know that this stream is kick-ass. And, you know, we need to imprison more souls here. That would be great. We flew down to New Orleans on that Friday morning, which I had no idea was named after Louis Armstrong, then spent the day hanging around Bourbon Street drinking cocktails and soaking up the jazz. Then after fighting off the hangovers the next day, we drove down along the Mississippi River to this little place called Burris. Shit, dude. Man, every fucking 2 seconds it's like, how do you say this shit? How do you say that shit? I'll fucking never know. Burris, I just don't want to get it wrong, especially if this is going to be like story number 1. And then you got all the people from Louisiana being like, bro, how you going to fuck that up? And the seeing as it's like an S, I imagine. It's probably like a soft French. Oh my god, what is wrong with... Why even put up a video telling how to pronounce something? Jesus Christ. No, Burris. You love me, thank you. Dude. Anybody know? Anybody from Louisiana know how to say Burris? Don't matter, move on. Immortal, you're gonna get me in trouble with the pronunciation Nazis. The grammar Nazis are gonna get me. They're everywhere. They're everywhere.
Burris.
That doesn't sound right.
Burris.
Like Illinois. How am I only 30? I don't know. I guess that's just how many years I've lived, I think. I could be older if maybe I had like a traumatic brain injury. Oh, it's Burris? Alright. Greetings from Minnesota. Hello. How's it going there? What software do I use to record my stories? Actually, so I use a microphone called an H4n, and in the microphone it has a little sound, or a memory stick. And basically, the files go in there as WAV files after I click record and start and stop and all that kind of stuff, and then I transfer all those files into the computer. I suck them out and I spit them out. Burris, I got it. Thank you. We are going to roll right on forward here. Then after fighting the hangovers the next day, we drove down along the Mississippi River to this little place called Burris, where we found ourselves at NOLA Bow Fishing Charters. The guys down there were awesome, sharing all their little tricks and techniques with us to ensure that we'd have a lucrative? Who the fuck says lucrative? The guys down there were awesome, sharing all their little tricks and techniques with us to ensure we'd have as lucrative a trip as possible. Then, once the sun had set, we loaded up into the boat and set off into the swamps. It really was like a dream come true to me. The landscape down there really is something to behold, but here's the thing. The shallow bottom boat we were on had these floodlights on them, just below the waterline. Most fishermen will tell you that this is basically cheating, since the fish tend to be attracted to lights that... Sorry, I'm fumbling my mouth. But since we were using bows and arrows, oh, whoops. How did I completely miss that? Most fishermen... Okay. Most fishermen will tell you that this is basically cheating, since the fish tend to be attracted to the lights like that at nighttime. But since we were using bows and arrows, I guess it kind of evened out the odds. However, having lights on your boat like that totally ruins your night vision, so as much as you can see the waters around you perfectly clearly, it blinds you to the darkness areas beyond. I don't know why I'm already like fumbling. I just get like my mouth gets caught on itself, and just same with my brain. Maybe my brain is not a brain at all. I got wet brain. I got a wet brain. However, having lights on your boat like that totally ruins your night vision, so as much as you can see the waters around you perfectly clearly, it blinds you to the darkened areas beyond, and that makes you feel pretty vulnerable indeed. There could have been anything out there in the darkness just watching us, and we'd have absolutely no idea it was there. So we're eventually having a ball for the first hour or so, mostly just making fun of each other for missing our shots so much, but eventually we actually started getting the hang of the whole accuracy thing. We're pulling in all kinds of black drums, redfish, and flounder, which are absolutely delicious, by the way. But I couldn't see any of the one fish I wanted to shoot, and that was an alligator gar. I'd had my heart set on getting my hands on a big 10-footer to show the guys back at the office, and I was worried the entire trip might pass before I got a chance to shoot one. But eventually one of my buddies is looking over the side of the boat, into the brightly lit but murky waters, when he calls out to me that he sees this big old gar hiding when he calls out to me. Hey, Roman with a 5 says, "Oh man, I love your stories. I don't have much, but I want to support you any way that I can." Roman, thank you so much. No worries. Honestly, I'm recording these stories one way or another. We're making it happen, and honestly, you guys supporting at all just makes me feel really good. So I really appreciate that. Thank you. Cosmic, what's up? Oh no, I hear my roommate gearing up the shower. That's gonna... Let me see how far we can make it before it starts. A full-grown pizza. Ulterior motifs. Ulterior motifs. What's all... Wait. First off, thank you for becoming a full-grown pizza and a member of the Buttersock cult. What is ulterior? Ulterior. Existing beyond what is obvious or admitted, intentionally hidden. Oh, I always thought it was like ulterior motives. Like an alter... Oh man, that's embarrassing. Does the word ulterior even exist? No, it's just ulterior. But I like the motifs play on things. That's cute. Squawk? What's up, Hawk? Hannah's in the bathtub and showering at the same time. Is she crazy? Hey, Jay Wilson, what's good? Everybody's showering. Everybody's in one big shower. When he calls out to me that he sees this big old gar hiding among some reeds just a few feet away, he knew I was after one, as was everyone, so everyone got out of the birthday boy's way so I could get a clear shot on it. So there I was, right up on the edge of the boat with my bow and arrow in hand, trying to steady myself to get a good aim on this gar. God, this thing was huge. I mean, it was easily a 10-footer. The same exact kind of monster that I've been dreaming of getting my hands on, and I really had to regulate my breathing to keep my hands from shaking too much. Only just as I start to get ready to aim on the thing, and I'm about to fire the arrow in the water, it starts to slowly creep further away from the boat, almost like the thing knew I had my eyes on it. But I wasn't about to let it get away, and as dumb as this was, I started leaning over the edge of the boat so not to lose it. That's when I lose my balance. Wait a second. Like I was trying to hear if the shower started. I don't actually know if that would interfere with the sound quality. It might be able to cut out most. I'm just worried that the microphone that I'm recording into, not the one that I'm streaming into, is they're different, but I'm just worried that it's going to pick up the shower, but we could go for it since I do remove background noise anyways, but I just don't know if it will pick up that or get rid of that background noise. Fuck it, dude. We'll just go for it. But eventually one of my buddies is looking over the side of the boat into the brightly lit but murky... Oh, fuck, I already read that part, sorry. How did I lose that far of track of where I was? I started leaning over the edge. Okay, that's when I lost me balance. That's when I lost me balance and became the crocodile hunter. That's when I lost my balance. I started wobbling, tipping over the side of the boat before my buddies could reach out to grab me and reel me in. Bow in hand, I crashed into the murky waters head first, getting absolutely soaked in the process. I can hear the guys in the boat laughing before I can even resurface, and when I finally do, I gotta admit, I was laughing too. But as I look up from the water, they don't look so cheerful anymore. They're all just looking behind me, staring at something with that partying tonight. Oh, Alec is partying tonight. Yeah, is he getting litty titty? But as I look up from the water, they don't look so cheerful anymore. They're all just looking behind me, staring at something with these looks of terror on their faces. I'm all like, what? What's the problem? Before I look behind me, seeing this pair of glassy eyes glowing in the lights of the boat, just before they disappear under the water. It was a gator, and it was huge. I start scrambling to get back on the boat, trying and failing to scale the side of it before the thing got me. All my buddies rush to the side to try and grab me, but the bow fishing instructor rushes to the opposite side, grabbing one of two of my friends and imploring them to do the same. At least we tip the whole thing over and all end up in the water. Just as they get a grip on me and start dragging me upwards, I feel like intense pressure on my right boot. It was horrible. I started screaming, "It's got me! Oh god, that sounded almost British for a second. What the fuck is wrong with me? It's got me! It's got me, chaps! Oi! Me leg! It's old Greg! Hey, it's just me, old Greg. Just wanted to grab your boot and put a little bit of Bailey's in it and see what it tasted like." It was horrible. I just started screaming that it's got me over and over, feeling my leg beginning to stretch from the guys dragging me up and the gator trying to drag me down. Then suddenly, I'm free and the guys are able to pull me back into the boat. But that didn't bring me any relief, as in the moment, all I can think is how the gator has bitten my freaking foot off. There was no pain, but I've heard that in those adrenaline-fueled moments, you don't feel the massive injury that's been inflicted on you. I'm scrambling around the boat, trying to get a look at my leg, half expecting to see a missing foot and blood pouring out in the bottom of the boat. But to my infinite relief, all I see is a soaking wet sock covering my still attached foot. The relief, the pure relief I felt in that moment, I can hardly put it into words. And it didn't take me all that long to figure out that a hangover had basically saved my life. Since I was feeling so rough that morning, I hadn't bothered to tie my boots up all that tight, giving them enough slack to allow the gator to pull straight up. The gator to pull straight up, pulled it off. Oh. Whoops. Since I was feeling so rough that morning, I hadn't bothered to tie my boots up all that tight, giving them enough slack to allow the gator. I'm like having tongue twisters, bro. Fucking shit. But allow the gator. Allow that motherfucking gator. Shit. God, that's like one of my biggest fears. Well, I know gators aren't like, obviously this guy went after by a gator tonight, but I am thankful that we don't live somewhere where crocodiles exist. Well, I mean, I don't live anywhere near Florida, or even anywhere near crocodiles at all, but thankfully gators, for the most part, I hear aren't as aggressive as the crocodile. You're going to the French Quarter. Is that down in Louisiana? Louisiana? Then suddenly, I'm free, and the guys are able to pull me back up into the boat. But that didn't bring me any relief, as in the moment, all I can think is how the gator had bitten my foot off. There was no pain, but I've heard in those adrenaline-fueled moments, you don't feel the massive injury that's been inflicted on you. I'm scrambling around the boat, trying to get a look at my leg, half expecting to see a missing foot and blood pouring out the bottom of the boat. But to my instant relief, all I see is a soaking wet sock covering my still attached foot. The relief, the pure relief I felt in that moment, I can hardly put into words. and it didn't take me all that long to figure out that a hangover had basically saved my life. Since I was feeling so rough that morning, I hadn't bothered to tie my boots up all that tight, giving them enough slack to allow the gator to straight up pull it off my foot. It was without a doubt the single most terrifying moment of my entire life. Seeing that those thing's eyes practically glow. Seeing that thing's eyes practically glowing in the floodlights of the boat put the absolute fear of God into me, and I know how lucky I am that I was able to walk away from a situation with all my limbs still attached. I could just as easily bled to death, lying on the floor of that boat, thousands of miles away from my wife and kids, while my buddies looked on helplessly. We took a fair amount out of the swamps. That night, and I suppose it was only right that the swamps took something back. I didn't manage to catch the gar that I've been lusting after in the end, but that was okay by me, I guess. I'm just quick to remind myself that there are real-life monsters out there, things that look like they're from a land before time, just watching and waiting for idiots like me to slip up, figuratively, or in my case, literally. Yeah, dude. That'd be so crazy. I've seen, it's so funny, like, all, like, the biggest gators and shit like that. You wonder if, like, how big they actually got with, even going back 200 years, because you see, all those, like, old, whenever, like, photography was finally becoming, like, more, I guess, prevalent in history. And I feel like all of, like, the biggest gator pics and stuff like that, and all the cool shit seems to have been killed in, like, 1860, you know what I mean? I don't even know if a camera existed, but I'm sure it did. Some sort of aperture apparatus. Yeah, rest in peace, Steve Irwin. Steve Irwin was such a fucking cool fucking dude, man. I love that meme where it's like, I hope everyone's having a good, or what is like, have an amazing day, except to the stingray that killed Steve Irwin or something. It's like, I hope everyone's having an amazing day, except for the stingray that killed Steve Irwin. I don't know why. I mean, obviously it's sad he's dead, but that was obviously years later, and that meme is one of the better memes I've seen. Definitely would have. Maybe I should post that on the meme page. I think it's about time. Meme pages recycle content all the times. All the times. Oh, 500 people. Hell yeah. Welcome, 500. The chosen 500 people. The chosen few. Alright. So, shall we move on to story 2? He ain't fishing with no gators. Yeah, I did see a pretty wild videos on Reddit where it was just like a father and a daughter. It seemed to be with some sort of group, but they were like paddle boating, which was nuts, and like, not that in of itself, but they were just like paddle boating in some sort of like waters down in the south, and they thought they caught a gar or whatever, and he's like, oh, this one's heavy, and he's like pulling, I don't know what kind of fishing it is, but it involved them like actually like pulling the reel up with their hands, as if though it's like was just sitting there for a while and attached to something, and he pulls it up and all you see is this fucking like prehistoric like snout just like kind of surface the water, and he's just like, holy shit, and like cuts the line like really quick, and it like plumps back down in the water. But I don't know, it was obviously a gator, and it looked like it was clearly fucking like 10 plus feet. It was scary. I believe in miracles. Where from? You sexy thing, sexy, so sexy. Noodling. Yeah, noodling for gators, that would be hilarious. Robert Irwin. I guess he's an adult now, isn't he? Didn't he get married recently or something? Maybe that was the daughter. Robert Clarence Irwin. He's a young buck, 16, born 2003. Citizenship, dual Australian-American. Siblings, Bindi Irwin. Maybe it was Bindi that just recently got married. She is 22, and yeah, just got married recently. Wonder if they'll both, like, you know, do shows and shit like that. That'd be cool. Oh, yeah, that shit's so fucking sad, man. Like, it's just such a random thing to me, you know? Like, just a goddamn stingray, like, out of nowhere, directly to the heart. Like, how, like, unbelievably unlucky can you get? Dude, we need him back. How do you talk like that one cartoon character? Which, from Family Guy. You sexy little thing. Get your ass back here, you sexy little thing. So sweet. You mischievous fish. Sometimes stingrays can be pretty mischievous. God damn. Alright, let's story 2. Let's do story 2. Back when I was pursuing my PhD in zoology at the... Wait, what's UL? UL Lafayette? I do know it's Lafayette, because I've definitely heard that, but what's the U... Oh, University of Louisiana. University of Louisiana at Lafayette. Okay, that makes sense. Selma, welcome. You were lucky to catch you live. I'm glad you could make it. Back when I was pursuing my PhD in zoology at the UL Lafayette, I chose to write my thesis on the life cycle of biology of the alligator snapping turtle. This meant I spent an awful lot of time out at the... Uh-oh, we got a wild pronunciation approaching. The Atchafalaya, I don't even know how to say it. It sounds like a name of the old ones. Let's see, do they have a pronunciation? God. It's weird, like, on Wikipedia, like, like, they have pronunciation, like, spelling. That's kind of something that I wish they would teach in school, is, like, pronunciation, spelling, interpretation. You know what I mean? Like, where you don't know how to pronounce something, but then you go to Wikipedia, and it has, like, an upside-down backwards E, or some shit, you know what I mean? And then like a T and like a Fundingle and like an A mixed with an E. You know, it's like all these weird terms. I don't know what that's called. Is it Latin or some shit? Probably not Latin, but I kind of wish that was just part of the curriculum, because that would be very helpful, how to like say shit. Let's just look. A pronounce. I'm sure this one's got to have a pronunciation somewhere. Oh god, that doesn't sound right. It's got 109 dislikes. That's hilarious. Good lord, don't come down here and pronounce it like this unless you want to get your butt kicked. Hell yeah. Says Mew, M-E-A-U-X. A full-on Cajun. Atchafalaya. Atchafalaya? Does that sound right? Atchafalaya? I don't even know. Let me, sorry to wait. I hope I ain't wasting y'all time trying to find the pronunciation of this particular word, Atchafalaya. Moonlighting otaku with the one. Atchafalaya.
Atchafalaya.
Atchafalaya. Letty Ramos with the 2 says, how are you, Joel? You're welcome, Letty. I'm doing good. Just trying to figure out these Cajun words, man. They crazy.
Hey, listen.
Atchafalaya. Thank you. Nice. Thank you, Lupo, and anybody who typed it in there. I appreciate that. I'm going to go with that. Is that your Atchafalaya? Is that your final answer? Yes.
Hey, listen.
Yes, Regis. This meant I spent an awful lot of time out at the Atchafalaya National Wildlife Refuge, a 1.5 million acre area of hardwood swamps, lakes, and bayous about 30 miles west of Baton Rouge. It's a truly beautiful and awe-inspiring place, but it's wild. One of those areas out in the country that has barely been conquered by humanity. And coming from Chicago, I'd never seen anything quite like it. But as much as I had come to love Atchafalaya, I had one of the worst experiences of my entire life whilst lost in the swamps there, an incident so intensely terrifying that I had to put my studies on pause for a matter of months in order to recover. I've decided to write down what I went through as a form of cognitive behavioral therapy in the hopes that it will help me deal with some of the unresolved traumas that followed me out of the swamps. Whether or not it will actually help, I can't tell just yet, but I sincerely hope it does, as frankly, I've been unable to be completely happy or content in myself since it happened. So without further ado, this is my story. It all started the morning my research partner and I were supposed to drive out to Atchafalaya for a long day of study and observation. The weather had been absolutely abominable over the previous few weeks, and we've picked a time during what appeared to be a brief break in the rainy season. It might be the only period for weeks where it would be feasible to undertake such a research trip, but in the morning we were due to depart, I awoke to a text message saying he was feeling severely under the weather. He apologized, but told me that he wouldn't be able to accompany me. I was disappointed in the extreme, but like I said, the following few days looked like they would be the only time I'd be able to get a sizable chunk of research completed. So as foolish as it was, I loaded up my gear into my car and drove out into the swamps, alone. I drove out to a small town of Plaquemine. Oh shit, here's another one. Here's another one. Another unpronounceable word. Plaquemine. I feel like that's gotta be Plaquemine or Plaquemine. I could be able to see it being like Plaquemine. Alright, come on, baby. Give me a good pronounce. Like.
Plaquemines.
Plaquemines. It is Plaquemines, huh? Plaquemines. Let's try this one too, just to, get a good sample size of randomly pronounced bullshit on the internet.
Plaquemine.
Plaquemine?
Plaquemine.
Fuck. Let's see if this has any words, because this is like a little documentary about.
As with the end of any great journey,
yeah.
there is celebration.
Look at this guy's voice.
As the big river known as the mighty Mississippi travels its last 70 miles, there is a celebration. A celebration of life that makes Plaquemines Parish.
Plaquemines. Okay, cool. That's what I figured. Plaquemines. Plaquemines. Plaquemines Parish, I tell you what. Plaquemine. Pac-Man. Plaquemine. Cool, cool. My voice is better. I don't know. I really like them southern voices that just got that certain charm about them, if you understand what I'm saying. They say that all the time. I know that. Being a Yankee myself, I know my southern drawls. The hologram is fantastic. Thank you. Yeah, you can thank Mr. Robin for that. Lils with a $5 says, guy almost took me out on the expressway. Oh, it took you out. Didn't even shake my head at him and disappoint me because I'm so happy you're streaming. Oh my god. Please do be careful, Lils. I always think that I'm just like, driving just seems so dangerous. I do it all the time. I'm on the highways, but I've been so fortunate. Thank God.
Hey, listen.
But, yeah, you gotta be on a swivel out there. My dad always taught me when I was, learning to drive. I had a pretty stupid friend that was just, you sweet thing. Like he, was. Do I have TikTok? I do not have TikTok, and I guess not many people will for long. Though I do like the idea of TikTok. But anyways, like my dad always taught me, he had this pretty stupid friend who was just known for being stupid, just a downright dummy. You know what I mean? And he always says, he's like, just imagine every time you're out on that road, every other single individual driving is your friend Joey. And that dare put the fear of God into me, I'll tell you what, because I could never imagine ever handing the wheel over to my friend Joey, and so I let's just say I drive rather with my head on a swivel and pretty defensively. Could I ever see myself doing a video with Mr. Nightmare? I certainly could, yeah. I think that would be an amazing, turn of events if he ever would want to collaborate, but I'm just not really sure if that's, his spiel or not, because he's so much bigger than me, you know what I mean? Wink, wink. That, you know, as far as subscribers go, that for him to kind of like, I don't know, come down to my level, it's like me being a little bit of a little, you know, rabbit, a little bit of a rabbit, and he's a big bear. He's not even gonna see me. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, no, that'd be sweet. I drove out to the small town of Plaquemine, just on the edge of Atchafalaya, parking up near a small mom and pop joint to get some grillade. What the fuck is a grillade? A grillade? Grillades. Man, every word. It's like a foreign language down there. How you say words. I should just make a website. HowYouSayWords.com.
Grillade or grillade.
Grillade. Oh, okay. So it's like a full-on French word, maybe? It's like a full-on French word.
Grillades.
Oh, God. Wait. 7 dislikes. How can you dislike a pronunciation video but not, like, guide people to how to say it in the comments? Also, why... I'm so sick. Like, and you guys hear me complain about it every time, but why even put up a video on how to pronounce stuff when you're just going to use a robot that you know is going to... Grillade. Oh. Grillade? Or grillade? If you know the robot's just going to mispronounce it, like, what's the gosh darn point, you know, of putting that video up?
Grillade.
Like, you would be better off, like, actually looking up, and probably faster, you know, looking it up. I don't even know. It's crazy. It's crazy to me. Oh, look at this. This guy's going to talk about grits and grillade. Let me just... I want to hear this man speak for a second.
Hello there. My name is Rick Widmeyer, and I'm with the Screen Door Restaurant in Portland, Oregon. Today we're going to be making grits and griots.
Griots. Oh my god, I would have gotten that completely stupidly wrong. It's called griots. Are you kidding me? Why would that... Dude, I was being led into a trap right there. I knew it, dude. It's gonna be spelled like G-R-I-L-L-A-D-S, and it's yeah, and pronounced Gillette, and I won't even realize it. Parking up near a small mom and pop joint to get some griots and grits before my hike into the swamps. I was in a pretty bad mood marching in there alone, and I had carry I was in a pretty bad mood marching in there alone, and I had to carry a little extra equipment since I couldn't spread the load with my research partner. This made the walk out to my preferred observation spot much more tiring than usual. I mean, it's crazy how just a little extra weight can make a long hike like that seem harder. But anyway, I'm on my way out to a place called Upper Flat, a big stretch of water near a little... Fuck, dude. Once again, this place, it's called Little Tenzas Bayou. I don't... Fuck if I know how to say that shit. Come on. Come on, baby. Give me how to say it. It's like a crapshoot. It's never easy. Oh, Lord. Maya B with the 5. Thanks for streaming. Hope you and Pradeep stay well and happy. We shall. Thank you, Maya. He is sleeping. I got the backpack in the room again because I normally take it to the gym, but ends up getting left in the living room. But he is happily sleeping on it beside me. That's like his favorite thing. Wait. Tenzas. Let's see. Oh, Tensaw. Motherfucker. I knew it, dude. Tensaw. I knew it. Tensy ass by you. Thank you again, Maya, for that. I appreciate it. We need a pronunciation counter. I know. I knew it was gonna be like endless bullshit with these like this French chat. This French chat. But anyway, I'm on my way out to a place called Upper Flat, a big stretch of water near Little Tensas Bayou, when all of a sudden, I started realizing that I don't recognize any of the terrain. This was weird, as I'd made this journey like at least 50 times before, too many to really keep track of, but I figured I've only strayed just a little off course, and I could find my way back onto my regular trail in no time. It was just a case of finding out which direction I'd move off in and making the appropriate course correction. Only when I get my compass out, I see the little needle spinning around wildly, like whirling around in a circle like it was being propelled by something. I give it a little tap, shaking it up, but it carries on doing exactly the same thing. It's not like it was a cheap compass either. It was a Sunto KB14, and there's some of the best compasses on the market. That one in particular set me back almost $200, so I fall back on the compass on my iPhone, which is even less reliable, but works off a GPS as opposed to the Earth's natural magnetic forces. But again, not only does it refuse to calibrate, but I realize I have absolutely no bars on my phone either. That was definitely not normal. The cell reception isn't the best out there, but I always get something, even if it's just a single bar to send texts. I'm a little worried by that point, as I've basically got no method of reaching the outside world if something goes wrong. But it's either push on and get my day's research done, or walk back the way I came and face messing up my entire thesis. And I don't even know if the way I came will even take me back to Plaquemine by that point. So, I foolishly decide it would be better to push on as opposed to turn back, one of the single biggest mistakes of my life. So I'm walking for like another hour or so, hopelessly lost in a place I somehow barely recognize when I begin to smell smoke coming through the trees. I figured it's some campers or hunters out there, which would be highly unusual for the wet season, but at least they'd be able to point me back in the direction of the upper flat. I follow my nose as the smoky smell gets more and more intense, until I start to see the smoke itself wafting through the trees. That's... Oh shit! Clapping them cheeks, clapping them cheeks. Mediocre bit with the 50 mother freaking big ones here says, speaking of favorite voices, I could imagine feeling sad, crying into Samuel L. Jackson's lap while he pets my head and is yelling inspirational things to make me feel better. Feel better, bitch! Why won't this bitch feel better, motherfucker? Yeah, I love Samuel L. Jackson. Like, Samuel L. Jackson in Pulp Fiction, Samuel L. Jackson in Deep Blue Sea when he gets eaten by a fucking shark ate me. A shark ate me. And then what was it? Snakes on a get these motherfucking snakes off this motherfucking plane. Like, and then obviously, like, I don't know. Samuel L. Jackson's like one of those guys who can just. He can be in, like, literally anything. He can be in a serious movie. He can be in a comedy. He can be, you know, he could be in anything. And he just does well, you know. And I don't know. I got a lot of respect for that man. But thank you again, Mediocre Bit, for the 50. I appreciate that so much. And Go Tigers with the 10 says, I owe you more than this, bro. Plus, I live in Louisiana. Go Tigers. Oh, that's amazing. I like the French spelling there. Them Tigers, they doing all right, aren't they? What was the quarterback's name? I feel bad not knowing his name. Louisiana Tigers quarterback. What was his name? Joe Burrow. Yeah, dude, what a fucking beast. What an actual beast. Like if ever there was, like, I remember just watching, I think, one of the playoff games leading up to the national championship, and I mean, I think he had like 5 touchdown throws, something just like insane numbers, and he was so accurate, just dead accurate everywhere he went or everywhere he threw. I was just like, I don't even know, just impressive feller. He's a good, impressive feller. I wonder, let's see. Is he American football quarterback for the Cincinnati Bengals? Okay, well, I think that you know, he stands a definite chance there. We shall see. What is that? The AFC North? Am I wrong about that? AFC North, AFC East? I forget. But thank you again for the 10. I appreciate that a lot. What's with the double Discord announcement? I don't know, honestly. Unless it, like... Did it start a stream in, like, another That's what I'm wondering, like, if it wasn't receiving that, because it wasn't, like, receiving my stream key or some shit, like, because you have, like, a stream key that's, like, unique to where you're broadcasting from, like, the software. So I wonder if it fucked that up. Is my channel showing up as, like, 2 streams at one time? That would be the worst news of my life. No, it doesn't look like a 2 streams at all, but I wonder if earlier when I did that, if it was, that might have been the problem. I don't know. Connor McCutcheon with another 5 to the LSU dude. Go Bulldogs. Oh shit. Starting a rivalry here, baby. Georgia. That's the one I don't know. I enjoyed going down to the South. It was just like that football atmosphere is different. You know, it just hits different. It's like that's people's lives, and like up here in the North, it's definitely football is important, but it's just I feel like there's something about Southern football that I'd like to be just in that atmosphere. You know, Samuel Jackson in The Kingsman, where he plays the villain who has a weak stomach, so hates blood, and oh, yeah, he speaks with a lisp. Great character from that's interesting. Andrea Elliott with the 5 Aussie bucks says, where are you from? Such a clear and soothing sound. Cheers for the Starries. Starries, yes. Yeah, so I'm from Northeast in the great state of Pennsylvania. Kim Chi with a 5 says we're still rough around the edges, but to the other SEC guys, go Hogs. Who do you like, Joel? Let's just say they're in the Big Ten, so we don't always. We definitely do all right, but it's sometimes a rough show from time to time. That's why I'm a little jealous of the Southern schools, because I feel like they just always get it right. You know what I mean? Upper flats, little tensor, got my camera. How do I always like lose my spot here? That's so weird. Magnetic forces, but again, not. Oh yeah, I was reading Plaquemine by this point, so I foolishly decided it would be better to push one as opposed. Biggest mistake in my life. Okay, so I'm walking for like a hopelessly lost. Yeah, smoke itself. Wow, that's also about the time I began to hear the slow rhythmic. Oh, shit. Okay. Yeah, here we are. Here we are. I figured it's some campers or hunters out there, which would be highly unusual for the wet season, but at least they'd be able to point me back in the direction of Upper Flat. I follow my nose as the smoky smell gets more and more intense, until I start to see the smoke itself wafting through the trees. That's also about the time I begin to hear the slow, rhythmic sounds of a banjo being plucked, just out of sight. It's not some jolly Cajun tune either. The sounds are discordant, ominous even, and the hairs on the back of my neck begin to stand on end as I finally begin to see this little wooden shack coming into view. I can see the campfire by that point, and the sound of the banjos. Sounds of the banjo. Pradeep's just like resting his head on my shoe. That's really cute. He's been cute lately. He's been real cute. In Centralia. Yeah, Centralia sucks. Have you guys been to Centralia? As a Pennsylvanian, Centralia, I honestly can say, is just like, it's just like a trash heap. Like literally, like people drive there not to see the smoke that's rising from the fucking depths of the earth, but rather to just dump their trash there. It's actually really sad because it's a small, like, little town, kind of, with some population. But we were there and we were looking for the smoke, and there was a little bit, like, you could kind of tell, as if though, like, I almost feel like it was like if you were to catch the morning dew, or if it rained in the morning and you were to catch like the fog or something, that would almost be like more intimidating than what Centralia has kind of like turned into in the modern sense. It's kind of sad. I figured it's some oh fuck, where the fuck, oh my god, how do I lose this every time? Discordant. Okay. I can see the campfire by that point, and the sounds of the banjo are floating out of a small window in the shack. I'm nervous, but I speak up anyway, calling out hello and asking if anyone is home, even though I knew well that there is. I was just trying to be polite, you know. This angry-looking face appears in the window in an instant, a face I'll never forget. This guy's skin looked like leather, all wrinkled and cracked, while the darkest eyes I'd ever seen started around from sunken eye sockets. He had a beard and mustache, but it was all dark, ratty, patchy hair that made him look more like a kind of vermin than a man. There was some rustling from inside before the guy stumbled out from the shack's door, staring at me from the wooden steps. I apologized for my intrusion, then asked him if he knew which direction I could find Upper Flat. He didn't say a word at first, just carried on staring at me like I was somewhere I didn't belong, which I suppose was exactly the case. I then took to reassuring him that I didn't want to take up any of his time, that I was a little lost and all I wanted was to find my way back towards Little Tensaw. Petite Tensaw? Wait, oh. Fuck, is he actually going to speak Cajun, dude? Oh my god. How do I speak Cajun? Is it just French? Yeah. Little,
Petit Tensa.
Petit Tensa? Alright, at least we have a French translator on Google. Let's see how they say Google, actually.
Google.
They do say it like Google. Google. That's really funny, actually. Oh, Pradeep, you're so cute. He rolled on his back because he wants attention so bad. So bad. Please rub my belly. Please rub my belly, good sir. I need a belly rub. Petit Tensa? He replied in a drawl of Cajun French. Oh, okay, so this is his response. Oh, oui, parlez-vous anglais? Okay. Oui, parlez. Yes, do you speak?
Oui, parlez-vous anglais?
Oh, God. Let's try this one.
Oui, parlez-vous anglais?
Parlez-vous anglais? God. He replied, in a drawl of Cajun French. Oui. Parlez-vous anglais? I had picked up a little French since moving to Louisiana for school, but I'm not about to pretend it was any good. The man just shook his head and then said something that sounded like a question that included the word. Fuck, how do you say this? Jeez, this is way more looking up of words. Like, this is just story 2. I can only imagine where we're going from here.
Traiteur.
Traiteur. Traiteur. Caterer? Caterer? The term traiteur describes a man or a woman who practices what is sometimes called faith healing. A traiteur is native Creole healer or a traditional healer of the French-speaking Huma tribe, whose primary method of treatment involves using the laying on of hands. Interesting. Then said something that sounded like a question that included the word traiteur. For those of you that don't know, in Louisiana, a traiteur is what they call someone who practices so-called faith healing, and whose primary method of treatment involves what's known on as kind of a laying on of hands, so to speak. An important part of Creole and Cajun folk religion, the traiteur combines Catholic prayer, medicinal remedies, and occasionally voodoo rituals. Or at least I thought they did. I generally didn't think there were any traiteurs left, assuming the practice had long died out, yet apparently not. Oh god. Traiteur, come, let's see. Man, this is tough, trying to go back and forth between trying to pronounce this shit.
Traiteur comme.
Comme. Traiteur, comme voodoo, non? God. Let's see, nun? Thank God for Google Translate, it's actually a thing.
Non.
Non. No. I genuinely didn't think that there were any traiteurs left, assuming the practice had long died out, yet apparently not. Traiteur comme, voodoo? Non? I asked with a chuckle in my terrible French, trying to be as disarming as possible as to not irritate the man any further. He didn't laugh. He didn't smile. He just got mad. Really, really mad. He started growling things in French I didn't understand, pointing at me accusatorily as he seemed to get angrier and angrier. I started to back off slowly at that point, hands raised in the air as if to say, I don't want any trouble. But somehow that just makes him even more irate, and he's what the fuck? Apoplectic?
Apoplectic.
Apoplectic, sorry. Overcome with anger, extremely indignant. Mark was apoplectic with rage.
Apoplectic.
Okay, God, there's so many... Yeah, I don't even know English, dude.
Listen.
Suck her punch with the tense says, hello, what store are we on? How was your day? Also, am I regular now? You certainly are. And thank you for the 10. Sorry, I got the hiccups kind of. I ate food before starting, and too much food probably. We started kissing in French. That's funny. No, this is story 2, but I've been like struggling trying to get all the French pronunciation because it's a lot of Cajun seasoning thrown in there, if you know what I mean. Merci beaucoup. But somehow, apoplectic, okay. But somehow that just makes him even more irate. And then he's sort of apoplectic with rage as he pulls this huge gator jawbone knife from behind his back and starts pointing it directly at me. A knife on its own would have been intimidating enough, but seeing the blunted alligator teeth that made up the handle, Jesus, that's just about scared the life out of me. I thought once I was out of there I'd be okay, but as I'm walking through the forest... Lazy French? But as I'm walking back through the forest, pretty shaken up, he starts screaming in French and whistling. Only when I look over my shoulder just to make sure he's not about to give chase, I notice something that makes my blood run cold. He's not screaming at my back. He's not whistling at me either. He's screaming and whistling into the forest. It didn't quite hit me at first. I just peered over the back of my shoulder wondering what he was doing, but then I realized he was calling others, telling them that there was a intruder, But then I realized he was calling others, telling them there was an intruder or whatever. I tried to move as quickly as I could without running, don't get me wrong. I was absolutely terrified, but the bayou is not a place to go blindly sprinting among the greenery. Aside from gators and occasional cougar sightings, Louisiana is home to the cottonmouth snake. Although it's not outright deadly, their venom contains an anticoagulant, meaning the wound won't clot. Cottonmouth bites have been known to be fatal and without treatment, certainly require amputation. So, I'm sort of jogging and bounding my way from the shack as fast as I can, keeping my eyes on the ground so I don't get myself bitten. I go for about 20 minutes or so until I'm happy I'm far enough away from that Angie. He's Angie. Fuck. I can't believe I said Angie. What's your guys' favorite scary story? Do you guys have a scary story from this channel or somewhere else that you like will always remember? Let's see. Where was I? I got far enough away. I go for about 20 minutes or so until I'm happy I'm far enough away from that angry Cajun to resume my walking pace. I felt exhaustion setting in at that point too. I'm sweating through my clothes and I am completely and utterly lost. My compass and phone still aren't working at all, and the further I walk, the more I'm panicking that I'm not going to be able to get out of the swamps by sundown. In which case, I would be really screwed. But just as I'm starting to feel relatively safe, I hear something like a twig snapping behind me, before I get this horrible feeling in my gut like someone is actually following me. I do a quick 360. A 360? Oh, I guess like a spin. I feel like a 360 would be like just looping back towards your general direction, but maybe that's what it was. I do a quick 360, making sure I can't see anyone, which I don't. The bayou seemed as still and quiet as ever, yet the feeling didn't abate. I'm still convinced that someone is out there just beyond my vision, watching me with unseen eyes. I start moving more quickly again, bounding through the trees until I'm almost certain I can hear the sounds of a car driving in the distance. I was close to road, I was sure of it. But right as I start to move off in the direction of the sound, someone steps out from a tree just to the side of me. They were dressed in all black, bare-chested with red-brown skin that was riddled with strange-looking tattoos. Over their face was a mask that looked an awful lot like the front section of a human skull, and in their hand was a huge black blade of some kind. To this day I have never seen anything as completely and utterly terrifying as whoever or whatever walked out from behind that tree. Whether or not they intended to do me harm or just scare me out of the area, I can't really say for certain. But I sure didn't want to wait to find out. I forgot about the cottonmouths and just ran as fast as I could, sprinting through the trees as I heard the guy following me. It was horrifying. I could hear him panting just a few meters behind me, the whole way until I burst through this thick patch of bushes and onto the highway behind it. I ran out in front of a car which almost smashed into me, honking its horn with the driver going crazy. I ran around to the guy's driver's window, begging him to let me in. At first, he told me to buzz off. I feel like buzz off sounds kind of lame, because it says to go to hell, but I don't know if I want to say go to hell. What are you doing, kitty? What do you want? Probably have to let Pradeep out after this one. You'd like to listen to me, you would listen to me talk about a chicken crossing a road. What about a Cajun chicken crossing the road? Which is kind of what's happening now. Does he read anyone's comments? Well, I do, but not while I'm also reading stories. If you feel me. If I could divert both my eyes and had two mouths, I definitely would. I ran around to the guy's driver's window and begged him to let me in. At first, he tried to... I ran around to the guy's driver's window and begged him to let me in. Fuck, dude, how many times have I messed this up? I ran around to the guy's driver's window and begged him to let me in. At first, he told me to go to hell. What? I can't even... My, brain. What am I gonna say? He told me to fuck off? No, that's not what I can say. He told me to screw off. Yeah, what? God, I don't know how I, mess it up so many times. I ran around to the guy's driver's window and begged him to let me in. At first, he told me to screw off and almost drove off on me. But I begged the guy. I really begged. And I don't know if it was how haggard I looked or if it was the genuine terror in my voice, but eventually he agreed to let me in. I told him what went back down in that bayou, and I asked him if he'd ever seen or heard anything like that. He told me no, but also mentioned that he knew way better than to be walking around the bayou on his own like that, and that I was an idiot for doing it. He was kind enough to drive me back over to Plaquemine to where my car was parked, and I thanked him profusely for potentially saving my life. I offered him some gas money, but I offered him some gas money, but he told me no, that there was no way he was about to take money off of me for just doing the right thing. That's something I never forgot about Louisiana, just how kind and generous people could be. How the whole thing about Southern hospitality was very, very true. But I've also never forgotten about that man in the bone mask. The man who haunted my nightmares for months after, and almost ruined my whole time at college since, like I said, I had to put my studies on pause just to get over what I'd seen out there. So please, don't ever go walking in the bayou of Louisiana alone, because there are people out there that are seriously averse to the... Sorry, that sounded just like a weird-ass sentence, sorry. Averse to the... yeah. So please, don't over... What the fuck, dude? Alex E., Mr. Mod himself with the 2, says E. Yo, what's up? It's E. What's poppin'? Gobble my junk, you trash turkey, lol. So please, don't ever go walking into the bayous of Louisiana alone, because there are people out there that are seriously averse to the intrusion of outsiders. Jensen with a 2 says E. Uh-oh. Is that code for something?
Hey, listen.
Man with a bone marrow. Lol. Okay, how do I let my cat out of my room? What are you doing? You wanna go out? You wanna go out? You wanna go out? He's already laying down in the backpack again, so I guess he's given up. Dude, happy birthday, Jensen. Alright, we are moving on to story number 3. E stands for E. I wonder if you guys could spell something out by putting letters in the chat. That'd be funny. Like, you do one letter, then the next person tries to do a letter and see if you could actually create a word. I'll keep an eye out for it. Oh, Giovanna, I'm sorry I missed your comment last time. I see it now. Much love to you, my friend. Sorry. And also, I apologize if I ever say anything rude, because I ain't mean to be that way. I ain't that way, man. That just ain't me. Cajun chicken. Let's see. F-A-L... Fail Y R O RGHR huge. Let's see, do we get one? AEXF PMT, wait, TUN? No, that's not a word. Spanish N. Noah UK CPX. You guys, damn, it's like, did you ever see the where it's like Twitch chat plays Pokemon? That's like what I'm imagining this is right now. Eventually, statistically, we'll end up somewhere. It just might take 100 years. There it is, Aardvark. That'd be hilarious. How the fuck did you spell Aardvark? Even with Vibroni like typing out hate, he couldn't get it done. It's okay. I shall continue with story number 3. Once again, guys, thanks so much for being here. We're about an hour in. We got 600 people watching, which is dope AF. Muchos Grocios. Hey, y'all. My name is Troy, and I live with my wife and daughter in the... God damn it. How the fuck? Once again, I don't know any of these pronunciations. Pronunciaciones. Here's my brother Luigi to give you guys a heap and a whole spaghetti pile of informazione. Hello, Mario. Wait, let's see. Oh, wait, we got definition. Your diction. Oh, I could go to yourdictionary.com, but they don't have the fucking pronunciation. How you gonna have a dictionary site with no pronunciation, man? That's so stupid. Alright. The free dictionary. Oh, it has it.
Gentilly.
Gentilly. Gentilly. Welcome to Gently. It takes a lot to make stew, but when it comes to me, you and him, and her and the baby too many cooks, it's true. You should look up on Adult Swim, Too Many Cooks. This is a pretty amazing, transcendental skit. Sam Gonzalez with the 3 says, Daddy Joe, what's happening? What's poppin'? Thank you, Sam, for the 3. Good to see ya. We're learning Cajun, and also I guess we're trying to make a stew of words with individual letters. Too many cooks. Too many cooks. You're learning Korean on Duolingo. Why would you do such a thing as that? Are you joining a K-pop band, my friend? How do you look up a word you don't know how to spell in the dictionary? Is that well, it's spelled in the story, so unless I thought that was like a joke, like you were setting up a punchline or something. So I can just copy paste it into Google because it's on the story here. Continue. All right, you're learning gibberish. Yes, Sam. Hey, y'all. My name is Troy, and I live with my wife and daughter in the Gentilly neighborhood of New Orleans. Both me and my wife are Creole, and we're really proud of that. We have a rich and diverse heritage that we can both trace back for generations. We was born, both raised in New Orleans. It's our home, and neither of us would rather live anywhere else in the world. But although this city is nicknamed the Big Easy, living here has been anything but. From the heat and humidity to the gators and hurricanes, I think the sense of community down here has been forged out of suffering. And back in 2005, when we was hit by Hurricane Katrina, boy did we suffer. So back in 2005, my family was living in this sturdy red brick 2-story here in Gentilly. I guess it's my fault that we went through what we did, because even after we got the hurricane warnings, it was my decision to keep us there. I mean, we had it for at least 4 or 5 years at that time, and never once had it flooded before, no matter how crazy the storms got. On top of that, the roof had almost an inch of waterproof plywood underneath it, and I laid all the shingle with my own 2 hands. I was proud of my work too, put a lot of time into it. Maybe it was my pride getting in the way, but I reckoned we'd be alright. And at first, we were alright. My wife and I figured it was just another regular old hurricane, if you can call them that. But then we got the news that the levees had broke, and only then did we realize just what we was in for. The water came in fast, real fast. It slowed the street. Oops, it flowed down the street. Drinking Bundy rum and cooking BBQ, the rum is going down great, but the food is taking forever. Yeah, I feel like with BBQ, sometimes you almost have to, like, let it cook all day or some shit. This is your Boink account. It flowed down the street we lived on like a river and leaked into our house wherever it could. We grabbed all kinds... We grabbed all kinds of things we didn't want to lose from the ground floor and then headed upstairs to safety. Somehow I got it into my head that it would just stop there, but I remember how scared my wife got as the water started climbing the stairs, step by step. We watched them disappear one by one until, not long after, it was soaking into the carpet right there on the 2nd floor. The house had never flooded before, not even once. And then there we were, feeling like we had no more than an hour before the entire place would be underwater. Our daughter was real young at the time too, only just out of diapers, so you can imagine how scared we was and how her crying made everything so much more tense. That's when all the power went out. Me and my wife saw this big flash of light outside, along with hearing these scary sounding sparks from outside, but it wasn't no light. Oh man. That's when all the power went out. Me and my wife saw this big flashlight. Me and my wife saw this big flash of light outside, along with hearing these scary sounding sparks from outside, but it wasn't lightning. It was from the transformer down the block as it shorted out and gave up. After that, we were in darkness. I was hauling as many of my valuables and essentials as I could into the attic of our house, while my wife tried to keep the baby calm. She was hushing her, singing her little songs, but the baby was wailing something fierce. She knew something was badly wrong, and she wasn't too proud to show it. By the time it was up to our waists on the second floor, we were all really starting to panic. But suddenly, it just sort of stopped. We wasn't sure it had at first. I just figured it had slowed down but was still rising. But sure enough, it had, and I swear I could have danced for joy. Sure, almost the house was ruined, but as long as the water stayed just there, we wouldn't drown, and to me, that was something worth celebrating. It was about midnight when this water stopped rising, and we were in total darkness, only able to see by flashlight. Our bedroom had a balcony on it, so I headed out there to get a look at the street outside. It was like a river out there. Just as all this water was flowing down the street, and it was... Oops. Sorry, get tongue-tied and twisted. Tongue-tied and twisted. Let's see if I can pronounce this. Is it Jenna or Genna? Jenna Groldal. That sounds like a badass, like, dwarven name. With a 5, so I just wanted to thank you for all your hard work. Your videos definitely helped me get through tough days. I'm sorry I'm not able to support more. No worries. Absolutely. I was, just like I was saying earlier, I'm going to be, reading these stories anyway, so to be able to experience that with you guys as well, having this community and stuff, and just have any support at all really is like super, super net positive, so I really do appreciate it. I should try singing. Yes, Lord, yes, Lord. When the levee broke, a giant-ass shark got into the town. It was a sharknado. Whoa. Sharknado. What if that's what happened in Hurricane Katrina? Nobody told us about it. It was a sharknado. Holy shit. What is the 24-month badge? I have dark mode enabled and can't see it. It looks to be like a really funny smiley face, almost like the Joker or something like that. Finally, a ghost sign. Yeah, I saw that meme. Yeah, it was like the scientist being like, finally, Dr. Salt instead of Dr. Pepper. That would be hilarious. Finally, a ghost sign. How old am I? I'm 30 years old. Let's read is 6'6". That'd be a tall boy. Whoa, are you gonna milli rock on any block? Aren't you scared that you'll milli rock on the wrong block? I would be, honestly. Like if I went to milli rock, like, you go outside, you're milli rock, and then all of a sudden you just like kind of black out and you find yourself milli rocking on the wrong block. I wouldn't want to be you. It was like a river out there. Just all this rushing water flowing down the street, and it was filthy. It had this oily black layer on the surface, and trash was everywhere. All kinds of things floated past me. Anything that could float out of people's houses was just bobbing on the surface. It was a vision of utter destruction. But I'll never forget the noises coming from other people's houses. There was all this banging sounds coming from the people's roofs, where they were trying to break out of their attics. It was haunting. Like all these houses had been turned into coffins, and the people inside had been buried alive. Just this horrible boom, boom, boom that echoed all around our neighborhood. And you couldn't tell exactly where it was coming from. The water seemed to create these echoes or something, sending the sounds every which way until it seemed like the entire city was all playing drums at the same time. I'll never forget what that sounded like. I told my wife to take the kid up into the attic to try and get some sleep, but I'm not sure she slept a wink that night. Around noon the next day, a boat full of guys wearing uniforms of some kind came along and hitched themselves to our balcony railings. I thought we were saved, that everything after that would be okay. They drove that boat all the way... Oops. Leslie, your birthday's coming up. Nice. You've been listening to me since I was 28. That's... wow. Wow. 2 years. 2 years. Wait, okay. Why does the live stream not show? It's live on the PFP profile picture of your channel. I had to go into your channel to see if you are live. Yeah, that's what I'm wondering if, like, because I opened up that... I don't know. YouTube's really weird where it has, like, two, like, confusing destinations on where the live stream is being, like, broadcast to, I guess. If that makes sense. Fuck. I'm gonna have to figure that out. I do have a person that I can ask on OBS, like, some questions, so maybe I'll have to hit them up. They drove that boat all the way to a nearby overpass where they'd already ferried about half the neighborhood. I mean, there was about 200 or 300 scared, exhausted people already there, just waiting around to be told about what to do next. But once we got there, we realized how bad the situation was. Nobody had no food with them, no water or bedding neither, but we all just guessed that someone would come along with supplies we needed. There was no way the government was just going to leave us there to die, right? It makes me angry just writing that, knowing what I'd do now. But they did. They just left us there to rot, like they straight up forgot about us. And that's when things started to get bad. I mean really, really bad. After one night up over on that overpass, the sense of community started to come apart pretty quick once people got into their heads that we'd just been abandoned. It got tribal, brutal even. People was going around taking food or money from those who wouldn't defend themselves properly. Those folks had no shame. Didn't even bother to cover their faces or nothing like common bandits. They just felt entitled to other people's stuff. Not a hint of guilt about them. What little food or water the group had was all gone by that second night, and the next morning, people started trying to escape the overpass or whatever was floating by. On whatever's sorry. Crystal Valerde with the 2 says, hello, hello. Crystal, thank you for the 2. Good to see you. Thanos snapped us. Boom, boom, boom. I want you in my room. I'm watching this because I got left on red. Oh, I'm sorry. What they need to do is just get rid of that notification that tells people that they've read their notifications, and we'll never experience that sense of disappointment ever again. Easy peasy. What little food or water the group had was all gone by that second night, and the next morning, people started trying to escape the overpass on whatever was floating by. I'm talking wheelbarrows, those little plastic swimming pools, anything that came by that looked like it might take them somewhere away from that overpass. People were getting real desperate by that point, and people were getting mean too. Luckily, I had the foresight to keep my cell phone dry and charged, so the whole time we'd been up on that overpass, I had been keeping in touch with a cousin of mine who lived uptown. Apparently he hadn't had... Apparently he hadn't had any flooding at all. Still had running water, still had power, the works. The only trouble was that the water was real deep at the end of the overpass. My wife wasn't a strong swimmer, and forget about the baby. So swimming was totally out of the question. We was trapped up there, stuck on that overpass as the group we were with became more and more fractured, aggressive, and paranoid of each other. These mean folks were accusing people of hiding food or water. Fights was breaking out. Kids were crying. It was just awful. The third morning we was up there, something terrible happened. Some kid is messing around in the overpass railings, and I'm watching, wondering where this kid's parents are to stop him doing something so dumb. And then the kid just slips. People screamed. What the fuck is wrong with me? Why can't I say it right? I'm like caught in the... It's because it keeps going, like, I feel like it's going back and forth between the Creole accent, kind of, so I'm like, should I speak that way? People screamed and ran to the edge, and so did I. It must have been a 50 or 60 foot drop into the water. I mean, it was a long way. We were expecting this kid to resurface so we can tell him where to swim to, but no one comes up. He just disappears under the water, and not a soul did anything to try and help. I only realized later that the water wasn't even all that deep, and the speed the kid fell, he would have smashed into the concrete under the water, maybe even head first from the way he fell. We watched a kid die that morning, and people were so hungry, thirsty, and tired that they almost acted like it didn't mean a thing. It was then that I decided that I had to get my family out of there before things got worse. And that's when I had an idea. You see, there was this guy on the other side of the overpass from us that had been sleeping on this inflatable pool lounger thing. The bandits in the group had tried to take it off of him at one point, and he had fought them off, something fierce, but I figured if I had asked him real nice and told him about my baby, that he might just give it to me so we could get out of there. I walked across the group to him, and he gives me this look like, leave me alone, but I start explaining about my kid, how she hasn't had no food or water in God knows how long, and that if she didn't get some soon, she might die. He looks like he doesn't believe me until I point across the overpass to where they were sitting. Then, the look on his face just softens, and he gives me that pool lounger without a word, just straight up gives it to me. So as discreetly as I can, as not to leave the bandits see us leaving. Sorry. You missed a rant. I don't think I ranted about anything. Did I? I ranted about rants. Ranting about the rants. Rantception. Hey, Cherry 5, what's up? Give me baby. Yeah, you can have pool toy in exchange for baby. Your nan got stuck up on a tree in Hurricane Katrina. Goddamn. That's scary as hell. Not to mention society collapsed, people stole food and water and valuables, fought each other, and even killed a child. These people acted like animals. Yeah, it's scary, man. Like, same with Puerto Rico, whenever the hurricane came through and power went out, you know. When we went down there for some relief effort, I was there probably like a week or so, and just hearing about, you know, for those first 6 months, I guess, where that was going down, like, how people that you knew and you loved and were like part of your community turned on you really fast because power was out, water was sparse, you know, all of the amenities of life were gone, and you know, it was law of the jungle, you know what I mean? It sucks. So as discreetly as I can, as not to let the bandits see us leaving, I take my family down to the water's edge and put them on the pool lounger. I start wading out, and before long, I start wading out, and before long, I'm up to my neck in the filthy floodwater. My wife and kid are whimpering and crying, wanting to go back to the overpass because they were so scared, but I told them that wasn't happening. That was getting to be a real bad scene up there, and I wasn't to be... That was getting to be a real bad scene up there, and I wasn't going to be around when it imploded. After about 2 or 3 hours of pushing that pool lounger in the direction of uptown, I'm exhausted, and our pace has slowed down a whole lot. All of a sudden, I feel the lounger snag on something in the water. Now, you gotta appreciate that because it was so dirty and oily, neither me or my wife could really see what it was. Like I said, I was incredibly tired, so I asked my wife to try and move it out of the way, but when she does, the thing rolls over in the water, and we actually see what it is. It was a dead guy. This old dude who probably couldn't swim so good, and he looked absolutely horrifying. His eyes were all milky white, his mouth was wide open and full of water, and his face was all swollen and purple. I mean, he looked like a straight-up monster, and my wife and kids started hollering up a storm on the lounger, begging me to get us out of there. I had to physically move this dead body out of the way of the lounger, grabbing onto the dead guy's arm and feeling it squish in my hand as I dragged him away. The smell off of the body was horrific, and I was gagging and retching while my wife was hysterical on the lounger. I had to yell for her to calm down, screaming at her to get her head straight. I never yell at my wife, but I was just terrified she'd have a panic attack or something and fall off the lounger with our baby in her arms. But she does. For the sake of our baby, she starts breathing right, and about an hour or so later, the water starts shrinking a little, and we finally make it to my cousin's place. We stayed there for about a week, living my cousin's... We stayed there for about a week, living off my cousin's generosity until we could finally get evacuated out to a FEMA camp out in North Carolina. They was real nice to us out there, but I think a lot of folks just felt bad that we'd been left alone for so long. And I hate to get political about this, but the whole experience changed the way I think about the government. I get that no one expected Katrina to be that bad. I do. I was just as surprised as anyone that the levees broke after being so good for so long, but what are we paying taxes for if they ain't going to use it to help us when we need it? We pay them so they can look after us, not all the time, but sure during an emergency like that. I don't think it was a racial thing like a lot of people try to make it out. Where we lived, in Gentilly, there was all sorts of folks living there. Black folks, white folks, Latin folks, and we all got abandoned just like everybody else did. I just hope that we learned enough from that whole horrible experience to be able to deal with it better next time something like that happens. And I pray that we do, because I'm not sure New Orleans could survive something like that again. As much as I love the place, Katrina showed me something. The community is fragile, and it don't take much for it to unravel. Yeah, it's scary. It does not take much. I remember hearing a sort of wise sage advice from some sort of human being of sorts, but they said that society is 3 days without power before anarchy, you know? It's really all it takes, I imagine. For most people, at least. Can you imagine just your power goes out? Like, obviously some people are better at being self-sufficient and stuff, but shit, I can't imagine what the cities would be like. They'd be fucking nuts. Hey, Wyatt, thanks for hitting that notification bell. I appreciate that. Yeah, and if everybody else would like to hit the notification bell just to be alerted of when new videos come out, when I'm streaming and all that kind of stuff, that would be dope AF. I appreciate it. Nails Hope says, that's where I was evacuated to, also Nashville, North Carolina, from Cocoa Beach, Florida. That's crazy. Yeah, what was that experience like? Alright, we are on story 4. There's 6 total stories. That last one was pretty long, but that was crazy, dude. Oh my god. Just like a dead body. Like a kid falling. Jesus Christ. Yeah. Freaking levee breaks. Everything's flooded. Angel, you just missed 3 stories. You're about halfway through now. 3 more stories to go. I live in a place called Crowley, Louisiana, not too far from the city of Lafayette. It's a pretty boring town. Not much really happens here at all. Perhaps the most interesting thing that goes on is the yearly International Rice Festival, which should basically tell you all you need to know about the place. On April 2nd of this year, I was sitting out on the porch of my parents' house at about 9 in the evening, just chilling and scrolling through Twitter. It was a quiet night. The sun had just set, and aside from a little low-volume music playing out of a neighbor's window, it was a peaceful, serene Louisiana night. But then I began to hear something in the near distance, a sound that was weirdly familiar to me. It was this blaring noise that got louder and louder the more I listened, until eventually it was so loud that people were coming out of their houses to check out what it was. It was a siren. This start-stop wailing siren that sounded that... It was a siren. This start-stop wailing siren sound that echoed all throughout our neighborhood. And although I couldn't quite work out where I'd heard it before, it was honestly one of the most ominous sounds I'd ever heard in my life. I was panicking over what it was about, so I called my dad onto the front porch to see if he knew what it was about. He didn't seem to take me all that seriously at first, and I'm pretty sure he was just as confused as I was when I found... He didn't seem to take me all that seriously at first, and I'm pretty sure he was just as confused as why I found the sound of police sirens so alarming. But when he heard the sound, and recognized that it wasn't no regular police siren, he got this serious expression on his face and told me to get back in the house and go up to my room. I was already pretty freaked out, but when my phone starts buzzing with notifications from my friends, all asking if I could hear the siren sound in the streets, it was all over Crowley. That same horrible sound was blaring out all over our town, and none of my friends seemed to know why. Their parents were freaking out too. Some of them were asking if it was a bomb siren or something, and actually told them to go down into the basements just in case something horrible was about to happen. I heard my dad walking in the hallway upstairs, and I peeked out to ask him if he had any idea what was going on, and he had actually taken his gun out of the locker he kept it in. Now that really did freak me out. Seeing him panicking too was just the worst. Then I get a group text from a friend of a friend who texted a bunch of us letting us know that the siren that we were hearing was actually from that Purge movie. That's where I heard it before. There were some of us who actually really flipped at this point and said they knew the Purge was actually going to happen one day, and tonight, the night. Oh my god, the Purge. There were some of us who actually really flipped at this point and said they knew the Purge was actually going to happen one day, and tonight was the night it was going to happen. A few minutes after they started, the sirens died down, and although my dad kept watch downstairs with his gun, nothing terrible happened, thank God. Then the next day it was all over the local news that it was actually a siren that the cops had played from their bullhorn things to let everyone know that there was going to be a curfew in place. People were going crazy, asking why the cops had chosen to play a noise from a scary movie instead of just telling us that there were going to be a curfew in place. Apparently they tried to let people know that there was going to be a curfew, but I sure didn't hear anything about it. But then they used the sound from that Purge movie. I mean, what were these idiots thinking? The chief of police ended up releasing a statement a few days later saying he had no idea that the sound was from a horror movie, and sorry, that sounded weird. What if the Purge actually happens? I don't know why it would. I didn't actually watch the movie The Purge, but I don't quite know why it would. Like, I mean, you can tell me how the movie pans out. Because, like, isn't it in that one, like, the government allows people to do purgings and stuff like that? You know? So, I mean, shit, I don't know. The government could come on TV one day and just be like, yeah, but that would like involve, like, if they said that there was going to be a purge, it would require like every aspect of local government to like not enforce, you know what I mean, a federally installed sort of purging. I don't know. The purge just seems like it would be really hard to implement if you tried it, like from a governmental standpoint. And that's me just assuming that it was the government that did it, or that implemented it, or at least started the, you know, kind of enabled people to act that way. Mediocre Bit with a 5 says, I have a friend from Haiti. He met his wife who was on a mission trip after the 2010 earthquake, and he was the translator for the group. Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, it was interesting. I mean, we went to Puerto Rico, but before that I went to the Dominican Republic. And you know, it's tough down there, you know. It's definitely some areas people are living in like cement shacks with, you know, metal coverings, and I don't know, so the schooling it's just tough, you know. And it's crazy cuz like there's so much hate between the DR and Haiti that like you know, if you thought the Dominican Republic was bad as far as, you know, general infrastructure goes, like, man, Haiti is a whole nother world. It was pretty sad. The chief of police ended up releasing a statement a few days later saying he had no idea that the sound was from a horror movie, and made a full and frank apology to the people of Crowley. But I mean, I felt kind of dumb having freaked out so much over nothing, but seriously, for a few minutes, the whole thing was absolutely terrifying. Yeah, at first I thought it was going to lead to like a tornado or something happening. Do imaginary friends have stories? I imagine they do. Show of hands, who's horny? Lol. You spelled horny wrong. Silly goose. Oh, Winter, you do mission trips to Africa. That's cool. Which part of Africa do you go to? Winter. I have a friend named Autumn, so that's cute. Wait, what do we have? Winter, autumn, summer. Oh yeah, you don't meet many springs. Anybody friends with a person named Spring? That'd be funny. Is there another word for spring? Like, boing? Not really boing, but you get the idea. Let me close out some of these tabs before my computer just straight up collapses in on itself like a black hole. Yeah, you know, it was interesting. Like when I went to the... I remember like when I went to the DR, or not the DR, but the Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico was probably the most organized aspect because like it was like actually with like a larger organization. So like the whole housing accommodations were like pretty much just like being on a campsite. Like a full on like, because it was like for college, you know, for college kids. So it seemed like they were trying to keep them like nice and comfortable and safe, aside from like, you know, whatever sort of volunteering projects and building projects they did and all that kind of stuff. But I just remember like, yeah, like we were in this like bunk, you know, these sort of bunking quarters. They were kind of like military style. There must have been like, I want to say close to like maybe 14 guys in one room, you know. I just remember like waking up in the middle of the night, my teeth were like grinding, you know. I was just like, I must have been like so stressed out while being there in the beginning that my teeth were just like grinding. It's grinding to the point that I was like waking myself up. I'm like, what the fuck? My jaw's like twisted. I'm like, what is going on? But I don't, it's not like I grind at home really, but I must have just been like really fucking stressed out while sleeping. It was stressful, you know, like in the sense of like new environment type stress. I mean, overall I felt like I had a lot of fun. I like working with my hands and stuff like that, so it's fun to kind of build shit, you know. You have a friend named Spring? That's cool. Naming your kid Spring should be child abuse. Yeah, it's a little bit much. It's a bit much. It's a bit much. Okay, so we are on story 5 of 6. We got 2 more here. Your best friend does sign language in her sleep. She's an interpreter. That's cute. This right here is a true story. Fuck. This right here is a true story. And it was in the news, so y'all can look it up if you don't believe me, but I'm telling you, every word is the truth. So I live here in Paulina, Louisiana, but part of my job takes me through Mississippi and into Nashville, Tennessee. I won't bore you with the details of my job, but because of all the traveling I do, I follow the Twitter account of the Tennessee Highway Patrol. It helps me stay up to date with all the news on accidents, road closures, anything that might make traveling slower or more difficult. If I get slow, I lose money, simple as that. So I think it was back in September of 2016. Tennessee Highway Patrol's Twitter posted a tweet that really caught my attention. They issued a warning to local citizens. Excuse me. Sorry. I really grind at home. Grinding, grinding up on that pole. Okay, I won't bore you. Oh yeah, wait. Fuck, I just said, okay, it helps me stay up to date with the blah, 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 blah. Okay. If I get slow, I lose money. Simple as that. So I think it was back in September of 2016, Tennessee Highway Patrol's Twitter posted a tweet that really caught my attention. They issued a warning to local citizens, one that I actually had to read back twice because it sounded so crazy. I thought it might have been a joke, something from one of those parody accounts or whatever, but I double-checked the account itself and the whole thing seemed incredibly genuine, and that freaked me out double when I realized that they were for real. The tweet told people to keep their eyes out for people dressed in clown masks. Fuck, oh my god, it's a clown story, holy shit. Warning, local citizens. Burp. The tweet told people to keep their eyes out for people dressed in clown masks. And get this, because these sick idiots were looking to lure kids into the woods, the cops had their suspicions that these people were some kind of predators that were actually out there hoping to lay hands on kids or something. I mean, can you believe that? The actual highway patrol in Tennessee, but that out there... Wait. The actual highway patrol in Tennessee, but that out there so you can understand... But that out there. Oh. The actual highway patrol in Tennessee, but that out there so you can understand why people went and took it seriously. So a few days later, it's Monday afternoon, and I'm doing some grocery shopping in our So a few days later, it's Monday morning, and I'm doing some grocery shopping at the supermarket here in Paulina. I push my cart down an aisle towards the front doors, just minding my own business, and as I come out into the open, near the cash registers, I see these two guys by the front entrance. They were just standing there, not doing anything bad, but what they had on freaked me out. I swear I'll never forget what they were wearing. They were both wearing these black jumpsuits with little strips of reflective tape on them, one with bright orange gloves, the other with these bright yellow gloves on. The taller of the two had a clown mask on, this really creepy one with a bright orange wig on it. I'm serious. The face on that one was one of the most horrible things I'd ever laid eyes on in my whole life. This big old wide smile with jagged teeth and stuff. The other one had a clown mask on too, only his was all black and white with this big black clown nose on it. Both of them were just standing there, staring at people who were just doing their grocery shopping. I start freaking like right away, shouting at them to get out of Paulina before somebody shoots them. Other customers start noticing them now, and some telling me to calm down, some wondering what was going on. But I was sure to let them know about the tweet from the Tennessee Highway Patrol that I'd seen. I start shouting about how they're a pair of child predators in town looking for kids to lure into the woods to do God knows what to. Then it's not just freaking me out. Almost the whole store is flipping their lid and telling them about these fucking clowns on this motherfucking supermarket. Are the clowns making a comeback? Clowns too? Then it's just not me freaking out. Almost the whole store is flipping their lid and telling them they about to get... okay. Then it's just not me freaking out. Almost the whole store is flipping their lid and telling them they about to get run out of town if they don't get themselves out of there. You'd think they get scared with so many people shouting in their faces or whatever, but they didn't. They didn't move a muscle. They just stared back at everyone, and I remember one of them looking right at me. Didn't move. Didn't get worried or nothing. Just cocked his head at me like he was sizing me up. It was only when the store manager waved his phone at them telling them that he was calling the cops that they actually slowly turned around and walked out. Some of us tried to follow them out into the parking lot, but they was just gone. Like they straight up just disappeared. I think that was probably the freakiest thing to ever happen in my home state, or at least the only thing I can't really explain. Yeah, it was the electric clowner Lou. And then you make me higher. Honk, honk. Honk, honk. I'm gonna bonk these clowns up. Go to clown jail, dog. Literally, you want to talk about clowns? There is a clown named Canino from the Italian opera Pagliacci. Italian Opera Pagliacci. How do you say it? Pagliacci. I wonder if the new... I don't know. I miss Assassin's Creed. The like Brotherhood, man, that was a fucking sick ass one. Assassin's Creed 2 was good, but then Brotherhood was really good. But then I didn't play Revelations. I just kind of felt like that's when they started like pumping them out, you know? It just wasn't too great. Oh, thanks, Carrie. Love you as well. Mwah, 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 mwah. Whatever he's on, I'll take the whole stock. I'm just smoking that clown. Alright, so this is the last story of the evening. How long we've been going live here? About 2 hours and 16 minutes. Which is pretty average for us. Pretty average. That's what she said. Just tell the damn story. We're all stupid for staying. Dave, what were you thinking, dude? Staying during a live stream and actually talking to the live streamer? Are you nuts, dude? Crazy? Crazy? Crazy, man. My family has owned a jewelry store here in New Orleans since 1952. My grandfather opened it up after spending most of his life working on a farm outside of Baton Rouge, having saved up for years to be able to afford the lease. He haggled with pawn shops and thrift stores, building up a fine collection of chains, brooches, and rings that he could turn a profit on. He built that business from the ground up, transforming it from a struggling, run-down old dump into one of New Orleans' most successful jewelry stores. When he retired, he handed the thing off to my dad, who he trained up throughout his teenage years and early 20s. Then when my turn came, the tradition continued. I learned how to evaluate gold and silver, checking for purity and such like, while other kids were finishing high school and going off to college. I was learning the jeweler trade. More than 50 years of hard work got poured into that place, 3 generations of Louisiana blood, and we were all extremely proud of it. But over the course of about 48 hours in August 2005, we almost lost everything when Hurricane Katrina hit the city. And, as it turned out, the actual hurricane was the least of our worries. Fortunately for my family, the suburb of New Orleans that we lived in at the time was just above the waterline, so we didn't get much in the way of flooding out where we lived. Sure, the winds and the rain were pretty scary, but I didn't start to really worry until I heard about all the looting going on downtown, and how there was absolutely nothing in the way of law enforcement. I couldn't just sit there and watch it happen on the news, so I got in my car and headed towards downtown with my pistol in the passenger seat. When I reached the area where the water started to accumulate. Moonlighting Otaku with the 1, thank you, my friend. I reached the store. Where the fuck was I? Oh. I couldn't just sit there and watch it happen on the news, so I got in my car and headed towards downtown with my pistol in the passenger seat. When I reached the area where the water started to accumulate, I parked up my car, got out, and began to slosh through the floodwater towards the street my store is on. It was horrible seeing the city I was raised in, having been so... Oh, hold on a second, my cat's scratching my chair. Let me let him out real quick. That's his signal. He's got me trained. Okay, so, the city is flooded, okay? It was horrible seeing the city I was raised in having been so utterly destroyed, and it didn't take long before I started to see evidence of the looting. I saw a guy with about 10 pairs of jeans slung over his shoulder, wading through the water about 100 meters or so ahead of me. I didn't say a thing, not because I wasn't outraged, but because he held a small revolver up high, just letting everyone know that he wasn't about to be stopped. I reached my store and thank God that it hadn't been broken into, but the inside was almost totally wrecked. I set about collecting up every valuable item that I could, intended to take it all up into the safe of the second floor where hopefully it would be safe from any looters that came by. But right as I was in the middle of doing so, I heard the sound of a boat engine just outside, along with a bunch of angry-sounding voices. As soon as I turned around, I saw a masked man pointing a rifle at me through the wrought iron gating that I used to lock up my store. He screamed at me to drop the pistol, barking at me that he'd shoot me dead if I didn't comply. I knew if I did, that'd be the end of my store, but he started counting down from 5 like he was going to pull the trigger when he got to 0. So I did. I dropped my gun into the water and watched as what appeared to be a well-organized team of looters wrenched open the old iron gates and a crowbar and proceeded to break into my store. They were well-armed, well-equipped. They were well-armed, well-equipped, and all of them had body armor on too, like they'd seen the destruction and the chaos and just decided to take full advantage of it all. It terrified me that predators like that seemed to walk among us. One had a pistol to my head as the rest commenced to smashing the glass cabinets and emptying the contents in the plastic bags. I had to watch while they pretty much emptied the entire store, but even when they'd taken almost everything, they weren't satisfied. The guy with a pistol in my head started demanding I tell him where the rest was, that he knew I had a bunch more jewelry stashed away somewhere, along with some cash. He was right, but I lied and told him they emptied me out. That's when he started dunking my head under the water for longer and longer periods of time, telling me he'd sooner drown me than walk away at that point. It was pure torture. I felt like I was going to black out, so, in the end, I just told him about the safe upstairs. They dragged me onto the second floor and held the gun to my head as they made me unlock the safe. Oops. Jesus Christ, dude. People are fucking savages, man. They dragged me onto the second floor and held that gun to my head as they made me unlock the safe, then emptied the entire thing into plastic bags that they were carrying. Almost $5,000 worth of cash and jewels were gone, just like that. Then as quickly as they had arrived, they left, having completely emptied me out. I'd gone downtown to protect my store, and I'd failed miserably. It was one of the most terrifying, humiliating experiences of my life, but I'm glad I was able to walk away with my life. It took a while before the store was up and running again. I had to fight with insurance companies who seemed unwilling to pay out, some claiming an act of God or some other nonsense. But in the end, we didn't lose the store entirely and we're open for business again. Although there's not a day that goes by that I don't see that guy's face, or remember how that floodwater tasted when that evil SOB almost drowned me in my own store. Doesn't potassium help with Charlie horses? Yeah, I mean it can. It just probably depends on what your, what electrolyte you're missing for the sort of, I guess, maybe not overconduction, but the appropriate conductivity of your muscle fibers. Because there's, what is that? The sodium-potassium transfer back and forth, like trying to find homeostasis. Sodium, potassium, pump, yeah. Yeah. Trying to find a good ratio of, like, sodium is probably be your best bet for cramps or something like that. But potassium is good too. That's why there's a good presence of both of those in Gatorade and shit like that. But some soup is good. Yeah, magnesium too. Some calcium. No, I don't know if calcium is quite as important, but... Huh. Bananas take... Does mustard have potassium? That's an interesting... Mustard, potassium. Huh, interesting. So... Let's look that up. Mustard, potassium, cramps. Some have theorized that the electrolytes in mustard, specifically sodium and potassium, can prevent leg cramps after exercising. However, a study in 9 healthy adults found that consuming mustard after a 2-hour bout of exercise did not fully replenish electrolytes due to loss of sweating and dehydration. But yeah, I guess in like the moment, yeah, it says taking mustard on a regular basis doesn't prevent cramps, but taking mustard can and often does terminate the cramp at the time. Cramps can occur because of one or a combination of the following factors: fatigue, overuse, dehydration, and nutrient deprivation. But that's interesting. I didn't know that about the mustard, like getting rid of it in the moment. I learned something today. Never go protect your store in New Orleans. You take magnesium and potassium every day. Nice. Yeah, I think bananas definitely would be useful, but I guess it's not instantaneous, I guess, like the mustard cramps are. Charlie horse is a bad cramp. Eat the mustard. Drink the mustard. Also, most mustard don't have any calories in it either, which is cool. Yeah, Joel juice. Just a cup of Joel juice, mix that in. Maybe I'll have to turn it into a powder here and sell it on with merch. Playing video games, that'll do it. Immediate relief. Well, my friends, we've made it to the end of the Strimstram. Still confused about the whole YouTube studio thing, but for perhaps we will figure it out here before next time. But I'm going to read my outro, and you guys, to thank you for participating in the stream. Please do consider thinking of a funny way to end it. Just as we reach 700, I know, right? Hey friends, thanks for listening. Click that notification bell to be alerted of all future narrations. And if you got a story, be sure to submit them to my subreddit, r/Let'sReadOfficial, and give and receive feedback from the community, and maybe even hear your story featured in the next video. And join my Discord to interact with me and other listeners directly. And if you want to support me even more, grab early access to all future narrations for just $1 a month on Patreon, and maybe even pick up some Let's Read merch on Spreadshirt. And check out the Let's Read podcast, where you can hear all these stories in long compilation form and save huge on data, located anywhere you listen to podcasts. Links down below. Thanks so much, friends. Oh yeah, we could say something about mustard. Mustard cures cramps. Drink mustard to cure cramps. Thanks so much, friends. And remember, drink mustard to cure cramps. I did not know that. I wonder if that would work with, like, menstrual cramps. Can anyone confirm? Anyone having those right now and cool with taking a shot of mustard? Oh yeah, everyone have a good day except the mana ray. Ray that stung Steve Irwin. Yeah, fuck that stingray, dude. Alex E with the 2 says, and remember, E. Remember, boo, fucking boo. Drink the mustard. Always drop the soap. Mustard socks. Yeah, you got a buttered mustard socks. Oh yes, is Mr. Jensen streaming for the fine people this evening? Watch your profanity. Do it for science. Nothing helped with my cramps before birth control. Interesting. A kosher pickle juice cures most ailments. That's true. That's honestly what saved me on my birthday from the 15 shots that I took. It was like all the pickle juice along with it. It was beautiful. Your hairline's about to fly off your forehead, waving goodbye. And remember, smoke crack every day. Jensen says, yeah, I'll be streaming for all the other no-sleepers who stay awake. Nice, okay. Well, thank you, Jensen, for a little bit of an after-party action. And thank you, guys, to everyone who's here tonight supporting the stream, just showing up with your amazing presence and good positivity. I appreciate that. As you know, this story, well, first, it's going to go up on Patreon. It's just $1 a month on Patreon. I'll be editing the audio, and that's where that'll head first. So be sure to head over there, $1 a month. get early access, download the MP3s, and do what you will with it. Make out with it, kiss it, listen to it, treat it with tender care. And yeah, as normal, it's also not tomorrow yet here on the East Coast, so tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the video of these Louisiana stories shall release, and I hope that you'll be there to listen to it, to give it a nice boosterino on the YouTubes. Would be amazing. And Alex E, thank you, yeah, for linking the Discord. He had linked the Discord there. If you guys are into joining Discords and communities and maybe even getting to chat with me, you know, live, we can chat about bullshit over the voice chat. I'm a pretty approachable guy, so please do not fangirl over me at all, because I won't understand it. I will tell you that I will fangirl over you, okay? Alright, we know the rules? No, I'm just kidding. But Shirazamian with the 10, thank you, my friend. Thank you for the 10, heading out. And the Dreaming One with 10 says, peace to all. Thank you guys for the donos on the way out. I appreciate that. Yeah, follow me on Twitter at Let's Read Creepy. Follow me on Instagram at letsread.official. And follow my meme page at Horny Computer for all your meme needs. They're very edgy. So if you're, you know, triggered, you know, just have a giggle. Have a giggle with me, would you? I'd love that. I'd love that a lot. But yes, everyone go over to Jensen's stream after this. He's probably going to do some fun things as usual. So it's about 11:30 p.m. for me. I will see you guys on the next stream, which, you know, when videos come out Monday, Wednesday, Friday, streams are the day before. So the next video is Wednesday tomorrow. The next stream is Thursday, and I'll hopefully be doing earlier streams now that my sleep schedule is not completely fudged in the butt. So that'll be sick. Cheyenne Dory Bob with the 5. Thank you, my friend. It's good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Oh, my Lord. All right. Everyone go have fun with Jensen. Give him hugs and kisses. And I shall see you all very, very soon.